Say hello, Nasha. We've seen a lion hello like this at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And I've also had a lion ask to go on a walk with them. Hello and welcome everyone to a live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. This is one of the 4 cats, a part of the Oregon Roadside Zoo seizure that we announced that we were a part of last week. At the sanctuary, we ran point on removing 15 exotic cats from the closed down Roadside Zoo in Bandon, Oregon, and we're able to offer forever homes to 4 of them. You got to meet the lovely Louie, you got to meet the wonderful Lila, and this week you are going to be meeting Nasha, and you're going to be meeting Bentley. But today is Nasha's day, and I cannot wait to hang out with this special lioness and be joined by, of course, you, our wonderful supporters who make life for new residents like Nasha here oh so sweet as they step into this Wild at Heart chapter at Sanctuary. So welcome everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is a really beautiful day too out, Miss Nasha. And I'm just looking forward to hanging out with this special gal. And of course, hoping to maybe garner some support for Miss Nasha as she steps out into her new rescued life, and talk a little bit about sponsors. And I do have an excerpt that I want to read from a USDA report. Surely many of you read it on our e-newsletter or our social media pages. Just details where Nasha was rescued from, and specifically what part of the park she was rescued from and what she was enduring. And we're going to read a little excerpt from that, and then we're going to focus on the most important part, what is in front of Nasha here in her new rescued life, and how important you are to support her through this Wild at Heart journey. So welcome, everybody. Pretty Miss Nasha is cozying up to me here in her free-roaming habitat, and here we are in Wild Woodlands, and you know that Wild Woodlands is home to a majority of our tigers. Some lions, we have Leo across the way, Miss Lilager Alyssa is here. But on the other side of Miss Nasha here is Alyssa. And then right behind me is Sanctuary Ham, Thor Jr., spreading his stuff. You might have read, and we're going to talk about all types of Nasha characteristics and the types of things that we've been learning with Nasha, learning alongside Nasha here at Sanctuary. But you might have seen one of the things that Nasha isn't fond of is other cats. And, for all intents and purposes, Nasha, I think you're very tolerant of Alyssa on the other side of you and Thor Jr. on the side of you. When we were playing our musical cats and finding the right habitat for Nasha, we did try a space in Roar Ridge, but it seemed like White Tiger, Jeremy, and Simon were not your cup of tea. But again, we knew that Miss Nasha wasn't maybe the most fond of other cats, and so this has been a great habitat for her. It seems like the shared wall is really the ticket. And speaking of other cats, she hears Lilager Alyssa doing some walking around, and she wants to see what she's up to. And that looks like Alyssa and Nova, who's along that shared wall, are having some choice words with each other. That's really clear, but still good to know. But welcome everyone, about 80 of you joining here with us, and as always, such a wonderful day here at the Wildcat Sanctuary for many reasons, but today in particular, we are introducing a new resident. This is Lioness Nasha, who came to us from the West Coast Game Park Safari after over 300 animals were seized from that property earlier in May. Just again rehashing things, we were right there on site. The Wildcat Sanctuary was running point on removing all 15 exotic cats from that facility, and 4 of those 15 cats, Nasha being one of them, are here at Sanctuary, ready to live out a compassionate life. And Miss Nasha, where you're rescued from, and as I said, you might have read on our e-newsletter or our social media, I wanted to share just an excerpt from a USDA report in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 12/3/2024, that just kind of talks about, or doesn't even talk about, it in detail describes where Nasha was living. And so I'd like to read that to everyone now. So Nasha, a 16-year-old lioness, is confined to a dark den with no light or ventilation. While there is a small opening on the outside at the top, the den area was in darkness. There was a light fixture with no bulb present. There was no mechanical ventilation and no natural methods to ventilate the space. The weather had been unseasonably cool, according to the facility representative, but there was no method to heat the den space, nor was there any bedding to mitigate temperature extremes. There's an inappropriate drainage so that urine, water, and feces had accumulated on the concrete pad. When the door to the den area was open, Nasha was startled, fearful, and did not move. Although the representative stated the lioness was allowed to access to the exercise yard when the tiger was shifted in, she'd refused to exit the den space when inspectors asked to open the shift door so Nasha's body condition can be observed. And long and short, I think that is, it doesn't even paint a picture, it describes a picture of what Nasha experienced in this former life, in this small, confined space that she was kept in for long periods of time, and how fortunate we are that as I zoom out on Nasha here, she's, literally and figuratively stepping out of the dark into the light now at Sanctuary. And now it's time, Nasha. We know what you've overcome, and now it's time to look at what's ahead of you. And as always, that's one of the amazing things about rescue and being at the Wildcat Sanctuary, is knowing what these rescues have overcome, but also knowing together what the potential is for these cats and the life that they have in front of them. Hey, my comments are starting to work here. As you can tell, I was kind of monologuing there, but I'm going to go through some comments here in a second. About 112 of you watching live with us right now. Welcome, everyone. It is such a great day to be introducing you to new resident lioness Nasha on this live post. She gave us a very Nasha greeting. Nasha has quickly made it clear that she's a more social cat, and social, I should say, with humans as opposed to other felines. And so Nasha gave me what I'm already describing as a patented Nasha greeting at the beginning of the live. And now we talked a little bit about her, the conditions that Nasha was rescued from, as well as time to kind of look forward and see what is in store for you in your wild at heart life, Nasha. But not before I get a few hellos in. Hey, Lorraine, glad to have you with us. Calling Nasha beautiful. Kendra ditto. She seems so content and not bothered by humans. Does she have issues going into her indoor space? Kendra, that's especially describing how Nasha was confined to an indoor space for longer periods of time. But the answer to your question, Nasha, or Kendra, that's Nasha. This is Kendra. The answer to your question, Kendra, is no. She hasn't been apprehensive or hesitant about using her indoor bedroom at all, which is wonderful. And maybe for some of those new to the Wildcat Sanctuary, it's good to know that every single one of our rescue residents has an indoor bedroom space. And so you see these large free roaming habitats that Nasha's hanging out in, cats like Thor Jr. Are hanging out in. Well, they have 24/7 access to an indoor space, so they can, hey, maybe they just want to hang outside and it's a beautiful day like this. Or maybe there's more inclement weather and they want to get out of that weather and head inside. That's an option for Nasha, and certainly an important part of our rescues acclimating to a wild at heart life, Kendra. So I like that you had that question. And I think particularly important too with a cat like Nasha, knowing and very much being understanding that she might be hesitant about an indoor space. Linda Bryant Kimball saying, hello, Judson and everyone here. Howdy, Linda. Glad to have you with us. Jill's here, tagging Faith Warner. She's stunningly beautiful, says Lioness Falcon Asfar. She certainly is. Toy Johnson saying, hello, Judson and beautiful Nasha. So glad she has a great life now. That's right, Toy. And certainly thanks to so many of you. And it's always worth reminding that you guys are so amazing and stepping up in a variety of ways to welcome some of our new rescues to Sanctuary. And of course, giving gifts as we, maybe introduce Nasha through the photo post like we did earlier this morning on social media. Obviously, we're live here on Facebook with that fancy dancy donate button. And then, of course, the gift of sponsorship is important. And also just maybe understanding, kind of from a high level, how expensive it is to care for a big cat, and how hey, we love it when, anyone is going to step up for a cat, but also understanding that to support a big cat like Nasha, it takes up to 5 sponsors. And so that's one of the things, Miss Nasha, that we're going to be working on for you, is making sure that you have a sponsor family as you step into your new Wild at Heart life. But let's talk some Nasha-isms. Nasha is, her age is estimated to be about 16 years old. There was a pretty large window in some of the USDA reports and what we think her exact age was, but Nasha's estimated to be around 16 years old, so kind of right on the doorstep of her geriatric years. But Nasha is, well, she's just one of those lionesses that you might not know how old she is based off how she acts. Nasha enjoys enrichment. She has already had all types of watermelon enrichment. She is a fan of scent enrichment. She has a pool in her yard. I'm going to kneel down, Miss Nasha, so I can see. She does have a pool in her yard. She has not gone and, full-on swam, but you might have seen, for example, some of her enrichment has been placed in her pool, kind of floating and bobbing around, and she's enjoyed that, which has been wonderful to see. But Nasha is just one of those cats where, as one of the kind of documenters here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, I'll be doing my rounds, taking some photo and video, and ever since her arrival in May, Nasha is one of those cats where, yes, I can get photos of her up on her platform, but about 8 times out of 10, she wants to come zooming over to say hi to the paparazzi, and kind of how we started this live post, kind of rub up along the fence there and do some groaning, or some lion groaning in a very, it's a very endearing groan. But certainly flashes of, some of our TWS legacy residents. I'm thinking of Queen Shanti Diva, former rescued lioness, who was very social, was very forward about letting you know how, important it was to have a human around her. And so for Nasha to make that connection with us is certainly something special. And I think also just maybe speaks to how incredible it is for a cat like Nasha, where she was rescued from, and her ability to forgive is certainly, has some gravity and weight behind it. Well, my comments started working for a moment. There's about 6 that have loaded up here. But I know I'm kind of zoomed in on Nasha. I can give a little bit of a habitat tour too to maybe some of those who are new. But I just love seeing about 120 of you joining with us on this live. Nasha is hanging out under her platform, and she actually has a platform structure up here in the front half of her habitat, and this habitat was actually formerly used for mergers, so you're going to see a shared wall. And as we've described Nasha's opinion on other cats, you're going to know that we're not going to be using this yard for mergers. And so Nasha still has access to that portion of the yard. She can just walk right through this door here. But the platform, of course, that you see her laying under, all types of, I see some balls, I see a tire toy, and then, of course, I'm going to go up and show you her pool as well. that caretakers have learned that Nasha doesn't use the pool so much, so it's not full, but she does, again, knock some toys around in there, and she has had it full and some watermelons placed in there. And I think this is also representative, very much a Nasha-ism, is she is keeping an eye on the paparazzi, even if she kind of just turned her head back, but she's always keeping an eye on where the human is. And Nasha, that's one of the fun things about you, pretty girl. And today is Tuesday, so today we're going to be highlighting Nasha, which would be you meeting the third of the 4 residents who came to us from the closed down roadside zoo in Bandon, Oregon, the West Coast Game Park Safari. And so today, tomorrow, it's going to be all about Miss Nasha. And come Thursday and Friday, you're going to be meeting Mr. Bentley. Far from last and far from least. Or maybe last, but far from least, excuse me. And I can tell that Thor Jr. here is interested in his neighbor Nasha. Because, well, you can just tell kind of the different parts of the habitat that a cat might be gravitating towards. And, well, ever since you moved down here, Nasha, I think Thor Jr. has a little bit of a crush on you. And I don't blame him for being such a pretty lioness. Oh, I wish I could see the comments, Nasha. But then again, it is nice just to, for everybody to kind of just tune out and soak in a cat living a life that it had no concept of before coming to the Wildcat Sanctuary. We reread it during this live post. Maybe you haven't yet checked out Nasha's introduction post on social media, where we shared an excerpt from a 2024 USDA report talking about the concrete den that Nasha was living in, and where we sedated and crated her out of upon arriving on site earlier in May of this year. But certainly something to, it's a valuable read, despite maybe it being a little painful, because it makes moments like this, when I see a lioness chopping at a blade of grass and coming up and giving us a soulful greeting at the beginning of the live. It doesn't make the pain go away fully, but it knows that there's a silver lining on what was once a very, very dark cloud for a cat like Nasha. Are you chomping on grass? She says, maybe I am. Maybe I am. Kind of need to hide the phone behind my body here. It's one of those days where that sun is beating down. It's ultimately pretty mild out, but I can feel, Thor Jr., I can feel the phone getting hotter. Oh, man. Looking at a sanctuary roadmap for Nasha, I think a cat like Thor Jr. is, an acceptable one to help kind of chart her course of coming from a facility that had a host of animal welfare violations. Nasha, the West Coast Game Park Safari, Mr. Thor Jr., the infamous Tiger King Park. And knowing that they came from a life with, just a tragic life, to put it very simply, and to now know that Thor has had nothing. That was May of 2021 you're rescued, Mr. Thor. That he's had nothing but 4 years of compassion, freedom, opportunity, love, and that Nasha is on the doorstep, and certainly already feeling that compassion, love, freedom. It's nice that we're able to kind of chart that path out, looking at some of our other rescues, and Mr. Thor Jr., you're no exception. Yeah, I see you getting stinky over here. We'll hang out with Miss Pretty Nasha. But I am glad we got a big hello from her at the beginning of the live. Ooh, yay, and I'm getting some more comments that are rolling in here. Hip, hip, hooray. Linda Bryant Campbell saying she looks content. Thank you, Linda. She looks amazing, says Alicia Woodworth Metcalf. She looks amazing. Thank you for rescuing her. Much love from Coos County. Well, great to have you, Alicia, and thank you for following Miss Lioness Nasha's rescue journey. That's so wonderful, and of course coming from the part of Oregon where she was rescued from, in Coos County. Stuart Rimmer just letting us know that you read that excerpt from the USDA report on the types of conditions Nasha was confined to. Yay, glad that we're getting all of our comments across the coming across the bow here. Sarah Blumberg, we've not met the new bobcat on the live. Lila, the Eurasian Lynx. That's correct, Sarah. We have not met this Lila on a live yet. And Lila, out of all four of the Oregon residents, I think is, ooh, look at a little scratchy time, is certainly the most fragile, I should say, and us wanting to just give her all the space that she needs to continue to recover and get on the right path here. So you're right, Sarah, we did miss out on Lila, but don't you worry. When the time is right for her, and we're going to be seeing her and celebrating her rescued life, just like we are Miss Nasha here and the remaining cats of this Oregon seizure. Are you going to show us your platform? She says, is it sun time? Is it shade time? These are the types of choices that Nasha never, ever had the ability to make. And then just in such a small moment, us just checking in with her on a live post, we get to see just a tiny example of the types of choices that Nasha gets to make for the rest of her life here at Sanctuary. That's so wonderful. Faith Warner doing some tagging, saying Nasha's another grass chomper. Seems to be. And it looks like, surely there's more comments out there, but that's all we're getting for now, Miss Nasha. Let me zoom in on you now that you've got a good setup here. Marvelous. And Nasha already knows the hum of a UTV typically means, well, humans. We know she likes humans, but also, of course, enrichment, mealtime, any and all the wonderful things that are associated with the hum of those UTVs and the fleet of our caretakers and animal care interns pouring out of them. I get excited about them too, pretty Miss Nasha. But hey, everyone, I'm so happy that we got to have really just a nice, calm, introductory live post with Nasha. And I think we really got to see a side of Nasha that I've been exposed to so much. And I know that maybe many of some of the volunteers and interns can testify to this before we were able to publicly talk about Nasha. But the beginning of the live post was a good testament to just how gregarious and social Nasha is towards humans. Obviously, at the Wildcat Sanctuary, Nasha is always going to be on the other side of that fence. I'm not going to be reaching out to touch her or pet her, but I'm still going to give her what she wants, and for that's a human to be around. And a good glimpse of that at the beginning of the live, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing lots and lots of more moments like that with Nasha. You're a big fan of the grass when you first arrived, pretty girl, for understandable reasons, so plenty of special moments of her soaking in the grass, even for those who remember kind of putting Indy, Tigress Indy, I know many of you recall Indy's first steps into a big cat yard at Sanctuary. Well, they were less steps and more kind of sliding on the grass. She was such a fan of it. But Nasha, you gave Miss Indy a run for your money there, pretty lady. Nasha's snooping around. Will you come and say hi and bye? Yeah. I did spray a little perfume. Hey, pretty girl. Yeah, we're winding down. Oh, yeah, that's right where I sprayed it, too. That's right where I sprayed it. She says, I heard you saying that I like grass. Maybe I'll do some rolling. And Nasha, just like the rest of the residents here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, knows when the paparazzi was setting up to wind down his live post, but then proceed to start doing cat things. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit longer as maybe Nasha settles into some scent here in the grass. But Miss Nasha, again, just so it's literal and metaphorical of where Nasha came from and now where she is here at the sanctuary, being rescued from that small concrete den. And it's stepping out of the dark into the light. And that's thanks to the support of people like you watching this post, people like you sharing, commenting, liking this post even. Everything helps Miss Nasha, and of course too, hoping to work towards getting Miss Nasha 5 sponsor parents as we set up a foundation for her new Wild at Heart life at Sanctuary. And we can take a look at this lion tail too. Nasha's more in the dozing off mood than maybe rubbing on some of my scent enrichment here. But that's fine. Nice quiet moment with the pretty girl. Hi. Yes. Yes, I used to know a lion who'd want to come and sit right next to me. I used to know a lion like that. I think these people did too. And we called her Queen Shanti Diva. And that is one of the, special things about rescue is, obviously we honor, former rescues, by remembering those fond moments and recalling memories. And I think we also remember them by seeing them through other cats. And I think Nasha is no exception from that. I see so much of Miss Lioness Shanti Diva in you, and it makes me so happy that we get to offer another compassionate opportunity for a lioness, just like you two. All right, pretty girl. Yeah, you can rest. All right, Miss Nasha. Yes. Sometimes you talk too. She says, I'm not in the talking mood though. Oh, Miss Nasha. Great to check in with you and see that you're continuing to enjoy this new Wild at Heart life. And I want to thank you all for tuning into this live and giving Nasha such a warm welcome. I know I'm saying it on the live here that maybe your comments are coming through, but that's not to discourage you from joining in on the conversation, giving Nasha a warm welcome, maybe tagging friends, family, whoever, so they can also give Nasha the warmest welcome. But for now, we are looking forward again to continuing with Nasha's introduction through the rest of today into tomorrow. Mr. Bentley, the leopard, will be introduced on Thursday. And then by then, we would have met all 4 of the residents from the organ seizure. And Miss Nasha, we are so happy, of course, to finally meet you. And we cannot wait to see what life has in store for you here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. But for now, everyone, thank you again for giving Nasha, like I said, such a warm TWS welcome. We will see you, I think tomorrow's a little full, Miss Nasha, but I think Thursday we'll be back for a live post. We will not have a Wildcat wrap-up on Thursday. Tammy is out taking some much-deserved PTO. So you're stuck with me, but of course we'll be visiting Bentley. And also have a fun little live post in store on Friday. But for now, everyone, have an excellent... Are we walking? Have an excellent rest of your Tuesday today. And please get the word out about Miss Lioness Nasha here and share this post. be sure to comment and say just how happy you are about her new rescued life. And it means so much as cats like her step into, well, such a dramatic transition from what she once knew. And we're so fortunate and thankful for it. So Miss Nasha, you keep on looking up at the sky, listening to the birds, and I'm going to let everyone go. But thanks again for making it such a special welcome for Miss Nasha here.